Is tea good for orchids? If so, which one? And how do we go about using it? Or is it just some old housewife's tale? I dress like an old housewife with this apron of mine, so surely this allows me the ability to speak about old housewives' tales with authority. With that, I have all the scientific knowledge I need to teach you why tea can be good for your orchids. Let's act like old housewives, so let's have a cookie and discuss the matter. So here we have green tea, red tea and black tea. Choose your poison and let's get started. To get the most out of your tea, you steep it for between 5 and 7 minutes. That way you get all that good caffeine and everything you want to get a real good kick. But do we really want to feed our plants caffeine? No, we don't. Caffeine is produced by the plants to inhibit the weed growth around them so that they have less competition for the nutrients in the soil. So we don't want to go be feeding caffeine to our orchids. When it comes to the caffeine content, your different teas have different percentages. Black tea is the highest, red tea has no caffeine at all, and green tea is slightly lower than black tea. And tea at this sort of strength is actually going to probably burn your plants anyway. The active compounds are in such high concentrations, it's good for you, but not good for your orchids, as your orchids like those low microdoses fed to them constantly. Rather enjoy your first draw and reuse your tea bags. So to get the best out of the tea for your plants, what we're going to be doing is using our leftover tea bags. All we do is put our old tea bags back into the cups, fill it up with warm water again, and then we're going to let this steep for another at least 10 to 20 minutes. So this extra steeping time is going to draw out catechin, which is a polyphenol. This polyphenol then is going to attach itself to the caffeine, and then that caffeine is not going to be able to affect your plant. So remember, always use the pre-used tea bags so that you can make sure that, for one, some of that extra caffeine has been drawn out, and two, the steeping time is long enough that the caffeine can be deactivated. Now we have an amazing weak tea solution to use on our orchids. And these go straight into the compost. So what exactly are the benefits of tea? So we've just popped outside after a good cup of tea to spend the afternoon in the sun with our orchids. And let's tell you why. They're going to enjoy some tea just as much as we do. There's going to be several factors, but first of all, remember, not all teas are going to be made equal. So we'll get to that later on. Let's get to all the positives to start with. Tea has got all those amazing nutrients in it, like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. It's even got calcium, magnesium, boron, iron. It goes on. But remember, we're only going to be microdosing our orchid, so it's still going to get all of those amazing nutrients in small doses. This doesn't mean you can replace your fertilizers completely with tea, as you will be limiting it out on other factors that it may also need. But along with all those nutrients it has, it's also got polyphenols. These are compounds that plants produce to help fight off attacks from insects and other pests. And by using them, you can help transfer some of that goodness onto your orchids to help prevent those nasty buggers getting onto them. Now, the main point is, after we've got food for your orchid and we've got protection for your orchid, we've also got increase in growth for your orchid. Tea also has a compound in it called tricontinol. This is a naturally occurring compound that plants produce, and it promotes growth. And using tea, which has this tricontinol compound in it, is going to enhance your orchid's physiological and biological processes that are going to speed up the growth of your plant. Speeding up the growth, feeding it, and protecting it from pests, it sounds like a win-win-win. And as long as you're using tea correctly, it is. So what's different about these teas? Well, they've all got different pHs and different nutrient profiles. And pH is the thing that you're going to have to worry about more. So depending on how acidic your water is or your media is, which tea you want to use. So the most acidic is going to be your black tea. This you're looking at between 4.5 and 5 in the pH scale. The red tea you're looking at almost completely neutral. And the green tea is towards the alkaline scale. So you're looking at between 7 and 10. So always take this into consideration when using your different teas, as we don't want to make our media too acidic and we don't want to necessarily give them something that's too alkaline. But in small quantities, neither is going to matter terribly much. And how are we going to feed our tea to these orchids? Are we just going to take our soggy tea bags and then throw them into the pot? No, I don't think so. They're going to hold too much moisture, they're going to keep it damp and rot your roots. What should I do? Should I split the bag open and empty the contents in? No, all you're going to do is block up and clog all the pores between your bark and then suffocate your orchid. So, how are we going to do this? What can we do? Mix. That's not scientific, but it works for me. Well, feeding with tea is as simple and easy as putting it in a spray bottle. Ta-da! Boom, 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 boom. And this tricontinol that's in your tea is just going to be absorbed straight into the leaves and used where it's needed to help push out all that amazing new growth and get your orchids to really flourish. And tea with all those growth enhancers, I wouldn't be spraying on my orchids at this point while it's starting to flower. I'd be spraying it on before, so they can grow well, so that we can get all these amazing blooms. Tea for two and two for tea. Tea for me and tea for you. I didn't think I need to put the warning, but I better. Just because you like flavored teas doesn't mean your orchid does. Vanilla and mango tea, keep to yourself. Remember, when you're having a good cup of tea, your orchids might want to join in the fun. Always, when working with orchids, think before you do something. Think of what the consequences are going to be and how you can overcome them. So with all new information, put it into practice in a way that's going to suit your methods. Balance in everything is key to healthy plants and healthy living. And thank you for watching. If you find this information helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and that notification bell, bing bong, to be notified of all our upcoming content so you don't miss out on a thing.